This is David Hawkins, DHI Enterprises, and today, for no particular reason, BlackMagic Dseign has released the Pocket Cinema 6K camera. No bullshit. I mean, I have the Pocket Cinema 4K camera right here, but this is just, garbage. Now, this doesn't even do anything. You just throw that away because, if you hit the record button on the Pocket Cinema 4K right now, it'll just say buy the 6K, and that'll be it. But the new camera, released just some, I guess, 8 months or so after the original. Of course, it shoots in 6K at up to 50 frames a second. It also does 5.7K at 60 frames a second. It still does Cinema 4K at 60 frames a second, so there isn't the sort of bump up that you would expect from, for example, the EZ cam shoots at 120 frames a second at 4K. So, the Pocket Cinema 6K still shoots 4K at 60 frames a second, which is sort of a bummer, but on the upside, it shoots on a Super 35mm sensor. So that's about roughly APS-C size. I believe right here it says that the sensor size is 23.1 by 12.99 millimeters. So that's about the size of an APS-C sensor. On top of that, it also accepts Canon EF mount lenses. So you'll be able to use your 18 to 35 millimeter Sigma lens, the f1.8 lens, and you'll be able to use the entire galaxy of Canon lenses. And in addition to that, there's an anamorphic mode, and there's still only 13 stops of dynamic range though, so it seems that, especially including the body of the Pocket 6K is going to be identical to the body of the Pocket 4K. I believe there's a sort of part that extends a little bit more here where you see the 6K logo and everything, but besides that, the screen is the same, the button layout is going to be the same, the dynamic range is exactly the same. It looks like they just bumped up the resolution and added a new lens mount, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And the Pocket Cinema 6K is going to retail for $2,495, which is roughly about $1,200 more than the Pocket Cinema 4K. I mean, given the amount of accessories and everything that you need to add to these pocket cameras, the $1,200 difference isn't really that significant, and just as far as my initial impressions of the camera goes, like I said, nobody's actually had the opportunity to try and use this camera yet. The only thing that we know is what we've seen from the spec sheets, but I would imagine it's going to shoot roughly exactly the same as the Pocket Cinema 4K does. It has the same dynamic range. The main thing that you're getting is an increase in resolution, and where you're going to see a big jump between the 4K and the 6K model is going to be in terms of the amount of light available, because it's using a bigger sensor. Yeah, I expect it to be quite a bit brighter than the Pocket 4K. I expect it to do better in low light situations than the Pocket 4K. But as far as the overall look of the camera, I expect the look to be more or less the same, since the dynamic range hasn't changed at all. And if you're shooting in daylight, I don't expect that much of a difference, but I do expect close-up shots like this to look a little bit better on the Pocket 6K, because you're dealing with more light and you'll be able to have a bit more flexibility in the lenses. Besides that, it's really too early for me to formulate an opinion, other than the fact that I can't really understand from a marketing perspective or a business perspective why they would release a 6K camera right now, especially since they don't really have any competition. The only competition that Blackmagic could be going against is themselves right now. I mean, they were sort of already by themselves in the, sort of cinema camera market. I think the closest competitor that they have is probably the EZ which is, going for roughly the same price and has roughly the same feature set as the Pocket 4K, except for the fact that it shoots ProRes and it doesn't really shoot RAW. But the EZ 2, I think, had 4K 120 frames a second, but it's not nearly as widely distributed or as widely, sought after as the Blackmagic Pocket 4K was. So it's not like they were serious competition. I think, the Pocket 4K was already in a class of its own, so now it's in that class with the Pocket 6K. And, if you're in the market to buy one of these cameras, again, it's hard to say because all we have right now are specs. We don't know whether the Pocket 6K is going to overheat. We don't know, we don't know anything about the Pocket 6K yet, except that it's available now. You can order it now, and it ships on August 12th. It's August 9th as I'm saying this. I believe it's August 9th, so just 3 days from now it'll already be shipping. And I can't really, shit. So, welcome back to DHI Enterprises. There's loads of stuff to go over. I've been gone for a really long time. I'm shooting this video right now using the Viltrox EF 0.71 speed booster for Micro Four Thirds cameras, and I'm going to be doing a review on that. And not only that, but I'm pleased to announce that the ebook, The Video Photographer, that I've been giving away for free on my website for a while now, is finally available. So if you've already signed up for my mailing list, then you can go ahead and download the Video Photographer ebook for free. And not only that, but I've got a ton of guides for various cameras coming out, including the Panasonic GX85, the Pocket Cinema 4K. I've got a guide to speed boosters coming out, and there's loads of new content up on my website. So if you haven't already visited the website, please go to http://dhienterprises.com and sign up for the mailing list and download my free guide. Again, this has been David Hawkins, DHI Enterprises, at The David Show on Instagram, and good to see you again.